Oh, hello, and welcome to Prediction Movie Review. Armed with only a trailer and the first 30-ish minutes of a movie, I'll attempt to prove just how lazy Hollywood has become. I don't just mean how every movie is either a sequel or prequel or reboot, even though there is a lot of that. I'm talking with their stories, plot twists, generic tropes, and most importantly, marketing. Hey, if you could stop showing us the whole goddamn movie in your trailer, that would be great. Anywho, that brings us to today. In a world that is desperate for new movies, given this current situation, we're about to find out just how desperate we are. It's the Prediction Movie Review for Tom and Jerry. Hey guys, my name is Dylan. Like many others, I grew up loving Tom and Jerry and the shenanigans that Cat and Mouse got into, even if them, along with the Looney Tunes and many other shows, taught us that violence is hilarious. Someone at Warner Brothers must have had a dartboard set up with a bunch of old cartoons, and to see what movie would get made next, just chucked a dart, and we landed on Tom and Jerry. If you want to play along, I'll be watching the official Tom and Jerry the movie trailer. Alright, let's ruin some childhood, shall we? Pause off the bat. The amount of damage these two have done over the years, it is about damn time that they got kicked out. It's also nice to see that a movie that was originally supposed to be made back in 2009, 12 years later, no one thought to update the animation.
Friends are supposed to do, oh yeah.
See kids, this is what I was talking about. Violence is hilarious.
This hotel has been host to 4 presidents, 3 popes, 2 kings, and we're about to host the wedding of the century.
This wedding is important and must be perfect, but we're to believe at some point Tom and Jerry are going to ruin this, proceeds to show us the wedding ceremony in the trailer.
Do you think you're qualified to take on this position?
I shine under pressure, like a diamond.
So this is what Peter did after Deadpool sent him home. Head of a fancy New York hotel. Not bad.
Everybody gonna shine.
This is genius. He's turned an iPhone and iPods into his own personal big screen TV with surround sound. That's ingenuity at its finest.
I will not let this hotel be ruined by a cat and a mouse!
He says as he smashes what is clearly the wedding cake. I'm sure the bride and groom won't care about that at all.
Everybody in the bouncy house go bouncy, bouncy.
We now interrupt this prediction movie review to bring you Deep Lyrics with Flo Rida.
Everybody in the bouncy house, get bouncy, bouncy now. He's gonna do superhero landing, wait for it. Superhero landing, you know that's really hard on the knees and totally impractical.
Bouncy now.
Coming soon, well at least they played that part smart. It went from an April 2021 release date, then they stupidly moved it up to December 2020. That obviously didn't happen. And then to March 5th, but Warner Brothers, I think, realized they knew what they had and wisely moved it up a week in order to avoid Raya and the Last Dragon. Nobody dares mess with our Disney overlords. Now you can either see it venturing out to an actual theater or you can see it on HBO Max. What's that? Cases are still bad and being in a theater for 2 hours is a bad idea? HBO Max, you just got yourself a new subscriber. There's the trailer for Tom and Jerry, the movie. Next up, we have to watch the first half hour or so of the movie, and then we'll come back and make some predictions. I really hate that I'm about to say this, but I'm not hating this so far. Like, it looked so dumb from the trailer, but I've legit laughed a few times at things that were intentionally funny. The opening scene from the trailer, I would have bet money was the opening of the movie, but no, we just jump right into the New York City skyline and rapping pigeons, aka the North American bin chicken. I joked about our movie overlords Disney, but I laughed so hard when the Crack Rat made a Disney reference about being sued. And the answer to the question, do rats do drugs? Yes. Another part I found so funny for some reason was when Tom was busking in Central Park playing piano, and Jerry messes with him and his glasses fall off, and one woman screams, "He's a fraud, he's a regular cat playing piano," as if a cat playing piano wasn't impressive enough. By the way, the animation style is very jarring in the live action setting, but I will give them credit, they fully committed to it. every single animal is live action, including the meat in the kitchen. Let's get into my predictions. I stopped around the 37-minute mark, and I think there's a few pretty obvious things that are going to happen later on. Kayla is shown to have been a delivery person who quits her job and lies her way into this temp position at the Royal Gate Hotel, which seems morally wrong. She will absolutely redeem herself and get a full-time job at the hotel after she steps up and saves the day. Even if she's a terrible person for taking a job away from that extremely qualified British lady who flew all the way to be there. That's a long-ass flight to give up so easy. In the alley, Tom runs into the group of stray cats, the alley cats if I may, and in order to threaten Tom about staying away from their turf, he says, "I'll see you again, Tom." I'm no screenwriter, but if that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Those cats, I believe, will show up later on as Tom is trying to chase Jerry around the hotel. He'll bump into them and they'll go, "Hey, yo, I thought we told you to stay away." And then a chase will ensue, leading to them wrecking the reception, because we already know that the wedding ceremony goes off perfectly fine. Seriously, it's in the trailer. I'm not making that prediction because it's such low-hanging fruit. Kayla has already proven she is awful by lying to get the position, yet she's supposed to be the main human character we root for. Heading into the third act, she will be exposed for having lied and be fired, which leads to her, Tom, and Jerry having to put their differences aside and team up in order to make the wedding happen. And here I was this whole time trying to enjoy this kid's movie about a cat chasing a mouse, and the whole time I was thinking, you know what? There's not enough romance in this. Enter Cameron. We'll get to see Cameron and Kayla continue to flirt rather than working. After she's exposed for her lying, Cameron will say that he can't trust her, nor does he even know who she truly is. Then while her, Tom, and Jerry are working to save the wedding, he'll realize that she's actually a good person and step in to help out, and all will be fine. Tom was showing lots of sexual energy towards Preeta's cat. We know he tickles the ivories, not a euphemism, and at some point he will absolutely play for her and get a smooch, and then we're going to see the classic cartoon Hard Eyes. I have no clue what a mouse would do with a giant ring, but he is going to steal that from Preeta for sure. And I think that will lead to the chase we see through the streets where Tom is on the skateboard because he's trying to get the ring back. And finally, it's a simple one, but it's something that 100% has to happen. We have to see a scene where Spike is chasing Tom, who's chasing Jerry. That's it. That's the prediction. Predictions are in the books. Lock them in. I'm confident about them. Now to see not only if I was right about my predictions, but honestly, I'm kind of really enjoying this movie and looking forward to the rest of it. Away we go! I didn't hate that. I laughed, it had some old school Tom and Jerry battling one another, and I had a good time. A few things. They tried to play Terrence off as a villain, and yes, he was a bit of a dick, but that man mentioned he's worked his ass off for years, and here's this 15-year-old looking girl who comes in, lies about her resume, swoops in and ruins everything he's worked hard for. They marveled us. They used a scene in the trailer that was not in the movie. And we're not talking a small scene either. It was the first 40 seconds of the trailer, nowhere to be seen. Those and a few other silly things aside, I really like Tom and Jerry. But that's not why we're here. First up, Kayla was indeed exposed for being a big fat liar, pants on fire. I don't know how it took so long, since Terrence knew right away what was up. It's weird how really no one has an issue with it, because she owns up to it. The first wedding gets destroyed, we'll get to that, which was odd, because that means them riding in on the elephants was for the ceremony, and that would have been in the same room as the reception. Preeta runs off saying there will be no wedding, but hooray, it's Tom and Jerry putting their differences aside and giving Kayla a chance to save the day. Exactly as I predicted. If we learned anything though, is that if you get married at a hotel or anywhere, make sure you have it in a contract that says if the first wedding is ruined by a cat and mouse, that you are not financially responsible for the second one. Which leads into another of my predictions. Everything of course goes off perfectly. They reunite the couple and we get a big happy ending. Not like that. And Kayla gets a job at the Royal Gate Hotel, proving she was worthy all along. Tom does develop a crush on Preeta's cat and tries to woo her with his piano skills. Hard Eyes included. No smooch though. And lastly, you can't have a dog who always chases a cat who's always chasing a mouse without Spike chasing Tom, chasing Jerry. Into the predictions I was wrong about. We do see the alley cats once again. However, it was not to ruin the wedding, but rather it turns out the animal control person we saw, unlike most in movies we see who are incompetent and can't do their jobs, actually does his job, and we see the alley cats locked up when Tom and Jerry are. Hard to feel bad that Tom robbed that home run ball to stop the New York Yankees from winning. Imagine if that happened to a team that, I don't know, say hadn't won a championship in 100 years, and not one that won't shut up about their 27. Jerry, for some reason, does steal that giant rock from Prita. No explanation whatsoever, other than shiny thing. But the chase scene we see Tom and Jerry in is not Tom trying to get the ring back, but rather after they've teamed up, trying to stop Prita from leaving New York. Although it was implied the whole time there's something going on between Kayla and Cameron, I will give the writers credit, we never actually see them get together. But it was nice to see them use some restraint. The writers, not Kayla and Cameron. Cameron, though, when they're walking through the market, completely forgives Kayla and says that she's amazing and she just needed to believe in herself in the first place. Find you a Cameron. Everyone deserves a Cameron. I can't believe how much I actually enjoyed Tom and Jerry. If you two are itching to see a new movie, it's worth the HBO subscription. Do you have a movie that you want to see a prediction movie review for? Obviously, I can't have seen the movie in order to make this work, but leave your suggestions in the comments below. Lastly, I predict that you will like the video and subscribe, and that's appreciated. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Everybody in the bouncy house, get bouncy, bouncy now.
Bouncy now.